Your Honor, I would like to thank you and allow me to share this presentation with you. On the day of the fire, our department responded to an active structure fire at 614 May Street. The fire was soon extinguished, but with the second alarm called just down the road, the scene was temporarily abandoned. When I arrived as the fire inspector, my duties were a routine post-fire investigation. I saw some points that would betray possible arson: a melted electronic device behind the TV, and a clear pour pattern running towards the kitchen. Now, the defense's position is that this evidence has to be suppressed because the apartment was entered without a warrant, but I respectfully dissent and urge the court to admit the evidence. We begin with the fact that the fire department had a lawful right to entry onto the property because of the exigent circumstances. A warrant isn't necessary when emergency exists, necessitating immediate action to save life and property. This entry and my presence were still pursuant with the continuing emergency, and the fire scene had not been handed back to the owner. In addition, by both authority through NFPA 921 and case law Michigan v. Tyler, the fire investigator has a right to remain at the scene following suppression of the fire in order to conduct an origin and cause investigation. I quote, An entry to fight a fire requires no warrant, and that once in the building, officials may remain there for a reasonable time to investigate the cause of the blaze. This was not a random search. It was an extension of duties according to accepted protocols and investigating fires. So I can present to the court then here a timeline that shows at 1:17 p.m. the fire was first reported. At 1:22 p.m. the first apparatus arrived and extinguished the fire. Approximately 2 p.m. the units start responding to the second alarm down the street. Approximately 2:15 I show up and start poking around. This timeline illustrates that I entered a sensible time frame after the event with the normal time of a fire investigation. It was well within the bounds of the law while conducting this investigation that I realized that the home had staged contents, absent items of personal property, and a melted Molotov cocktail behind the television. I can see evidence of an accelerant-based pour pattern. These samples were obtained and law enforcement was contacted prior to filing criminal charges. Lastly, I want to point out that if the evidence of the presence of accelerant is not considered, it calls into question the necessity of having fire investigators at all with respect to proving criminal intent. The Fourth Amendment bars unreasonable searches, but does not bar reasonable, exigent, and investigatory activity after the scene of a structure fire. So I think, Your Honor, that it would be appropriate for the evidence to be admitted as a fire investigator that is legally allowed during an ongoing emergency response and in the spirit of a precedent and professional custom. Thank you.